But this all started as Will South's idea, who was looking for a way to use materials in-house that had been neglected or just kind of forgotten. And so we went looking for a frame for a painting that he wants to use in the reinstall and found this beautiful frame that, lo and behold, was behind a bunch of stuff. And he said, what about this? This is big enough. And so Mike and Daniel, they cut it down and joined it together. It was a massive group project. It's a traditional water-gilded frame, and so you have to be very careful and slow and methodical about how you treat the surface because it's very easy to pull up that original gilding, which you absolutely do not want to do. First thing is research. The more you know, the better you'll be able to care and treat this object ethically and appropriately and not cause any irreversible harm. With this frame, it was so brittle and there were parts of it that were flaking off, so what it needed first was consolidation. I used B72 and a solution of acetone. You want to use a synthetic resin because it is reversible, and that is something that's very important in modern conservation. It was a very thin solution. This is because I wanted to put it in a syringe. I could inject into the cracks and damaged areas this kind of glue that holds those areas in place, keeps them stable, makes them strong again, and then that way I could move forward to the next step, which is cleaning. Because the frame was so dirty and had a really, really heavy layer of grime and dirt, first thing I did was use a HEPA bag. And I wouldn't have done that before consolidation because it would have been a concern to vacuum up any loose parts. I started off my testing and figured out that the best method of cleaning was using a solution of triammonium citrate in distilled water. What I had to do was very slowly and very carefully, observing very closely my swabs. And then once I noticed that there was very minimal dirt on my swab, I stopped. Because that dirt served as a barrier between my water solution and the water gilding beneath. And after I've gotten it to the point that I think it's as clean as it can be, I move on to fills. What I use is basically like modern acrylic latex gesso, but with different properties that are similar to plasters. This takes a while because what you would like to do is slowly apply thin, diluted layers because you don't want to cause any air bubbles and you want all of your layers to kind of distend. And once this is completed, then shaping and sculpting is next. And that's where I have thousands of little pieces of sandpaper around me. I use many different tools as well. Then we move on to toning. Traditionally, you would use a clay that comes from Albania. In Italian, they call it bolo, but in English, it's called bol. This clay was meant to serve as a buffer between the wood and your gesso, but it also tones the gilding. I used false gold and synthetic adhesive. You have your gilder's cushion, your gilder's knife, and cut it and apply your glue, wait for about an hour or so, and then you can start gilding. It's an incredible technique and an incredible science, and it takes years and years of practice. I love this process, but it's one where you don't breathe. Because if you sneeze or move too quickly, thousands of little pieces of gilding go up in the air, and you don't want to lose those. You have this new, shiny, gorgeous gold on your areas that had been damaged, but you can't keep it shiny and new because you want it to be integrated with the warmth and the character of the aged gilding that's surrounding it. Taking different things like iodine, for instance, to integrate it with the surrounding areas that just have that look of they've been around the block. And the final step for most frames is a protective layer. For this frame, it's a wax coating. It'll just give it a little longer life, the work I've done, and also protect what's originally there. I really enjoy learning from the objects, and I enjoy the process of bringing them back to where they should be enjoyed and just respected for their mastery.